This is a 2019 Nissan Sentra 6-speed. Alright, so guys, starting up, you got your key fob. This is an S model. Now, starting off on the back, in order to open the back trunk, you have two choices. You either have the lever in the front driver's seat, or you have the key fob. In this case, we're going to use the key fob. And it opens right up for you. Now, looking at the back trunk, you can see that you have open hinges, so be careful with your valuables. And then you do also have your safety pin up here in case you lock yourself inside the trunk. Now look inside the back trunk. You do have a light, and you have this really nice cargo mat. Underneath here you do find a tiny spare along with your jack. And the seats do fold down 60-40, but you won't have a flat floor. Headlights are halogens, no fog lights, but I believe you can get HIDs in the higher trims. And also for the S trim, you can only get Steelies. In order to open your gas cap, you have to come and lift on the fuel lever. The gas lid is located on your passenger side. This gas tank does hold 13.2 gallons, and your estimated gas mileage is 27 in the city and 35 on the highway. You do have this spot right here where you can rest the gas cap. You do have chrome handles. Now looking at the door material for the rear passengers, you do have hard touch plastic, and you do have this soft cloth right here along with a padded vinyl armrest and another compartment here to put your things and your window switch, along with a compartment that fits a water bottle and your speaker. Now taking a look at the back of the passenger seats, you do see that you have one mat pocket, and you do have the same material on the other side. And you do have very supportive seats that are cloth, and they feel really soft. Pretty comfortable. And then for the center, you do have some compartments there to put your items, but no charging ports. Now getting inside is actually pretty easy. It's not too bad. And then the front passenger seat is actually rolled all the way back, and I do have decent leg room. As soon as you get inside, you do notice that this cabin is actually pretty roomy. But you don't have a center armrest. One thing that is weird is that all passengers have their own grab handles except for the driver. Getting out of the rear passenger seats is fairly easy. Now in order to fold down the seats, you do have to pull on this lever right here, and that will give you access. Now going to the front passenger seat, as you can see, you got the same materials, but you do have this nice aluminum trim along with your window switch and your lock switch and your speaker. The passenger seat and driver's seat are fully manual. Now getting inside the passenger seat. Now looking down here, you do have the Sentra carpet floor mats. And then to your glove box, it's not lockable, but it is damped and very deep. Now coming up here to the dash, you do have soft touch plastic, vanity mirror, no light, but it does extend. Now looking up here, you do have LED door lights and your light controls, as well as sunglass holder. Looking at the infotainment system, you do notice that you have really easy to read audio controls and a very nice screen, along with your easy to read AC controls. And then down here you do have a 12-volt outlet along with another compartment here and your 6-speed manual. And then you also have another compartment here that is decently sized. And you also have 2 full-size cup holders. And now for the middle armrest, you do have a pretty soft padded vinyl material that has your USB and auxiliary ports. This compartment is actually pretty deep. Now getting out of the passenger seat is actually fairly easy. Now coming to the driver's side, you do have the same door materials, as well as your window switches, your lock and your window lock. The driver's seat is also fully manual. Now coming to the left of the steering column, you have your dimmer switch and your side mirror controls, as well as that lever for your back trunk. Down here you also have your traction control and an eco button. The eco button basically shows up on the middle screen there, telling you when to shift for maximum economy. And then down here is where you also find your fuel lever and your hood release, as well as your 3 paddles and your footrest that has no material on it. Now sitting in the driver's seat, you do notice that you have a pretty roomy cabin with a clean setup. And then to the steering wheel on the left, you do have your audio controls, as well as your voice command and your hands-free phone calls. And then to the right, you have your cruise control, as well as your windshield stock. Now the instrument cluster is actually really simple and easy to read. In the middle screen there, you will find your miles per gallon, your range, and your estimated miles per gallon, as well as your outside temperature. And you still have a traditional e-brake. Now for the driver's side, you do have a vanity mirror with no lights, and it does extend. Overall, just sitting here, the seats feel really soft and they feel quite supportive and comfy. This steering wheel is tilting and telescopic. Now let's take a look at the engine bay. The hood is fairly light, and just in case y'all can't find the prop rod, is actually attached to the hood. This is your 1.8 liter 4-cylinder Nissan engine with a 6-speed manual. This engine does produce 130 horsepower and 128 foot-pounds of torque. Alright, let's get this Nissan Sentra on the road. Just a little bit of clutch feel. The clutch does feel really soft. It's kind of springy though. There is resistance once you let off. The engagement occurs right at the middle. And then the shifter right here, it just feels well placed. I really like how the throws are notchy. It's not long. It's actually just right for this kind of vehicle. Right off the bat, I do notice that the throttle response is decent. Visibility in this car is not too bad, but you do have the typical sedan visibility problem back there. And then to your left, no problems. Steering is pretty light. The rev does hang quite a bit, so that does disrupt your shifting. And then noise level in here, I don't really hear any wind noise. I do hear some road noise, but it's just tiny bit. And then going over some of the road imperfections, I do hear a tiny rattle coming down from the shifter area. Taking it through the curve, it's actually not too bad. There's not that much body roll. Let's do some downshifting. Wow, okay. Downshifting is actually not too bad. It's only when you try to upshift that you experience the rev hang, which is annoying. But other than that, this car feels okay. This shifter is actually really light. You don't feel no weight to it. I feel like the material on this steering wheel is actually pretty grippy, even though it feels cheap, but it's actually a lot grippier than the steering wheel I experienced on the SR5 Tundra. Yep, you do notice some rev hang, but downshifting is no problem. The brakes is actually very good for this car. This car doesn't feel too stable on the curves, but it feels stable enough to keep you in check. Yep, brakes is really good. The turning is actually pretty immediate. I feel like I would love this car just that much more if it did not have this rev hang. I really would. I feel like this car would definitely be a good daily driver. But I just don't know about the rev hang. Yeah. This car does get up to speed, no problems. But I just really dislike that rev hang. Alright guys, time to show you guys some spirited driving in the 2019 Nissan Sentra. Nah, I'm just joking, man. It's got rev hang. But I just want to point out that this car is so easy to drive with the manual. If you don't want the CVT, I would definitely go with the manual. You know, cabin here is roomy. You got nice compartments. It's quiet. The seats are so comfortable. I feel like I could take this car cross country today. But the only one thing that's holding me back is the rev hang. You do get quite some noise when you're on it, but that rev hang just jerks, because when you're trying to shift fast, it actually disrupts that momentum and causes you to have a jerky experience. Steering is nice and light. The brakes are good. Oh yeah. The shifting is easy. The clutch engagement is so easy to find. The only thing I dislike when upshifting is the rev hang. Let's see. What's my gas mileage? 35 miles per gallon. getting 35 miles per gallon, and I've been driving like a crazy maniac. This is that one car that you can drive like you stole it and not get yourself in too much trouble. Ooh, corners. It handles corners just fine. Not enough power to get out of the corners. But that's not what this car was intended to do. But if you do try it, you'll have some fun. Ooh, this car is just so easy to drive. Downshifts are so well behaved. If you don't want the CVT, at least Nissan still gives you the manual. The clutch engagement is easy to find. Oh shit, I stalled.